I'm back. I'm back. And I'm I'm in a stable position and I have Wi-Fi so I can recap today's events. So hopefully people are getting notifications. Yay. Somebody's there. So I was working today while I was trying to also address the issue of the thug Littleton cops and their new relationship with Planet Fitness. I got some verification today from Planet Fitness. Hi, Bohica. Hey, I am really super glad for all the new subs. San Joaquin Valley Jr. and Transparency, thank you. Because I don't have any issue. How is this even happening? It has to be YouTube. Am I even here? Can you hear me? Okay, maybe I'm too far from the Wi-Fi. Let's see if this works. I didn't think I was too far. Are we back? Come on, this can't be conspiracy, can it? Hey Thomas, how are you? Tommy Stocks, long time no see. Seems better. It's in and out. Oh, he could behave. It's not in and out. It's perfect. Is that better? Is it staying consistent? Do I dare get started again? So I'm working and I'm trying to deal with all that bullshit today. And I was trying to do those streams. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just call it bad cell service. So anyway, I want to recap this whole thing because it's very important. And shout out to San Joaquin Valley Transparency for doing the reposting of my video. I'm always fine with that, and I think it's great and important. And I love getting new subscribers. It's buffering again. It doesn't show it on my end. Is it, Bohica? Keep me updated. Is it buffering? Okay, somebody's bullshitting. If somebody gets on here and disrupts this chat, Bohica, get them out of here, please, because I don't want any bullshit. Because I got a bunch of new subscribers, which I'm incredibly grateful for, because it brings incredible awareness around the things that we work together on throughout the country, and we are very connected. So I want to recap this situation because I think there's more going on here than meets the eye. And I've been a longtime member of Planet Fitness, and I've liked that club. That particular one I had joined less than a couple years ago from a bad experience from another club. You know, they're all franchised, and that club on Bellevue. And I want to post the address of that one on Bellevue. It's West Bellevue. And after this video, I'm going to post some information in the description. And I hope people will go there and read it, because I need help. I really do need help on this, because it's bothering me a lot. And, you know, the work that I do out on the streets with the nonprofit and the homeless is stressful enough. And to have these kinds of things take me down a rabbit hole it really it takes me away from that important work, and I need to go fight with the cops elsewhere. I really don't need to go to Planet Fitness to fight with cops. I need that to be my downtime and a place that I can take a homeless friend every now and again to get a little exercise and get a shower. And I can't do that anymore. So I had canceled my membership at that Planet Fitness about 6 months ago because of COVID. I was not going to wear a mask. And I find it ridiculous that private businesses bitch about all the taxes they pay, bitch about government interference, but are plenty on board with having government dictate their business. So, I stuck it out as long as I could at that club through COVID. And the day they told me that I couldn't even come in the building without a mask, I said, all right, cancel my membership. See you later. I guess I'll be back when I can work out without a mask and inhale my carbon dioxide. So I called last week and, COVID's over, by the way. Remember, vaccines work, masks worked, the whole thing worked. COVID is over. So I called and they said, oh, yeah, no, masks are optional. Oh, okay, great. Well, I'll come in and renew my membership. So I went in there the very first day, Saturday, renewed my membership. It was a little after 5 in the evening. I worked out, did my thing. I left Planet Fitness a little before 7 o'clock. And I went right next door to King Soopers to do some shopping. But before I'd left the building, I did see some Littleton cops out in the parking lot. I didn't think anything of it, whatever. They never came into Planet Fitness. I left the building. I kind of stopped and paused and looked over at them. They might have seen me. I don't know. But I saw a couple women I thought were women that they were talking to. And okay, well, whatever, must be an accident. Because I'm always evaluating whether or not I should record. But, I try to be respectful on private property and I try to have some downtime from it all. So I just got in my car and I drove over to King Soopers, which is like 500 feet next door. And there's an interesting jurisdiction issue right there where Planet Fitness and King Soopers are. So Littleton Police Department has jurisdiction up until the Planet Fitness. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being in here. And right next door at King Soopers is Inglewood. So there's two different cities, two different law enforcement jurisdictions right there, municipal law enforcement jurisdictions, Inglewood and Littleton. So I go into the grocery store and I'm shopping, just filling up my cart. I've been in there for a little over an hour. And I'm walking past the front checkouts and I'm about to pass the service desk. Hey, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the new subs too, you guys. And I'm gonna go around this little old lady. She's kind of blocking the aisle with her cart. And I go to look up and I see these two cops coming towards me. I don't, whatever. I don't even want to make eye contact with them because when I'm doing my thing, I just want my time, right? And so I just kind of moved my cart over to the side and got behind the little old lady until they could pass. And I noticed that they were passing really slow by my side. I could just see it in my peripheral vision. I didn't really think anything of it. I waited till they passed, walked around them. I was going down the beer aisle because I needed to go to the chip aisle, which is literally in the middle of the store. And I stopped for a minute and I thought, oh, I got to look and see if they have Leinenkugels here. Leinenkugels are one of my favorite summer candies, and they're only available in the summer. So I quick turn around and back at my cart, and this fucking cop is standing right behind me. And so I looked again, and I needed to make sure I had my space, but there was another cop standing next to him. So I didn't want to go back and look for my beer. I just wanted to move on. Screw the beer. Don't need it. So I go to move on, and Mr. Royd Rager, cute tatty boy, gets right in front of my cart. And I look up at him, and he doesn't really say anything. And the other cop comes up to the side of him, and they're standing there. And I go to move my car, and he blocked my cart. He said, I need you to stay here. Right at that moment, bells and whistles start going off in my head because something is going on, and I don't know what it is. And for anybody in the state, you know that we've had this issue with. Thanks. We've had the King Soopers shooting in Boulder. So there's just this uptightness in King Soopers anyway, and the whole mask thing, and everybody's busy getting up in everybody's business, and yada yada yada. So King Soopers is just really kind of a shitty place to be anyway. But it did start to. Thanks, Quika. Who is that? Okay, we'll go back. So I need to be fully focused because I don't know what the hell's about to go down. So I start assessing the whole area because I have a little bit of training in self-defense and I need to know what's going on. So my mind is in assess, fight, or flight, right? So I look down the chip aisle and I look at the cop and he's looking down the chip aisle and there's a woman standing down there and she's going through the chips and I'm like, okay, they must be looking at her, and I'm watching her and I'm watching the side, right? I'm not thinking about how I'm going to exercise my rights to remain silent, contrary to everybody's, internet advice. And you should have done this, or you could have done that, and you better not talk to the cops, and blah, 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 blah. Everybody walks in different shoes with different experiences and of different genders, everyone. I want everyone to stop and think about what it's like to be a woman and be capable of standing up to the police. You're going to get your ass kicked. You are. It's inevitable. And I have. And it's not fun. It didn't feel good. It's scary. There's no one there to help me or defend me, okay? I also have a lot of criminal defense experience with attorneys that have counseled me over the years in some of my criminal defense cases about how to appear better in front of a jury. Okay? So I'm not as stupid as a lot of these new followers might think I am, and giving me all of their advice. Hi, Alan. Thanks. So as soon as I figure out that there's no physical threat going on right in King Soopers, watching their body language, the cops, watching how they're behaving, watching the customers, I backed my cart up and I said, "What are you doing? You need to stay here." "For what?" uh we're investigating something." "And what the hell are you investigating?" And he said something about Planet Fitness. And right then and there, I knew in my mind that it's likely they saw me. I was there. There's no denying that. There's nothing to hide. Of course, when you have nothing to hide, you have everything to hide. I get that. But when you're in public, there is no expectation of privacy. Remember, everybody, we preach this, okay? So I was in public that. So there was no denying or hiding that. So he goes on to tell me he's investigating some bullshit. He never defined what it was. And I pushed back a little harder. And I said to him, I said, get out of my way, and so I can continue my shopping. And he said, "No, you're not free to go." I picked up that cell phone right away and I started recording. But right there, the switch in my mind said, "Regan, don't be your typical self when you're out on the streets and you're advocating for other people's rights and for other people to not be criminalized or persecuted and prosecuted in public, because this is now about you, because you are going to be the spotlight of whatever's about to go down right now. And remember all the things you've learned and been taught." So that is why the video went the way it did. I didn't have any concern until the dipshit said third-degree burglary. Okay? So you called about this. Thank you, Jerry, very much, because I need a lot of help with this. You're scared of me? Paul, don't be scared. You know not to be scared. I'm real and I'm forward. And when it's time to tell cops to fucking pound sand, I have no problem doing it. and I will do it. But I needed to make sure that if this was going to turn criminal, I had a lovely video to share with, to share in discovery, to share with the jury. Okay, I was thinking way ahead. Yes, please hit the like button. So that went down. You saw the video, it ended. I went and got my chips. I got on the phone with my husband. I'm like, there's some fucking dickheads here acting like idiots and blah, 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 blah. And just in case, know that I'm here, and Arapahoe County Jail is where I would end up. Okay. So I was talking to him and I was walking through the store, and I went past the checkouts again. I had forgot something, and they were up there, those two cops. Mr. Roid Rager dude standing at the door with his arms folded like he was, King Soopers private security, and that other Rocha guy over talking to the managers. Well, as you saw, he did not give me his card when I asked him to. I was going to go out into the parking lot and see if I could find them after I quick grabbed something and would get off the phone with my husband, blah, blah, blah. But they just happened to be up front at the checkouts, okay? So I marched my happy little sassy mouthy ass right up there. I looked around for children. There were none. And I walked up to that jackass and I said, "Can I have your card, please?" And he said, "Oh, sure. Yeah. Pulls out his card, gives me his card. I said, "You're a fucking idiot." And I said, "Furthermore, why don't you go get your fucking fat ass on the treadmill? Because you're going to get somebody fucking killed trying to be a cop out here and save somebody's life." And I just proceeded to rip him a new asshole and continue to tell him what a moron he was. And so, well, thank you. Okay. Well, you have a nice day. The same typical stupid cop rebuttal instead of just shutting the fuck up and turning around and leaving. So I wasn't done there. So I went over and got the other cop. I said, "I need your card, please." "I don't have any." I said, "Then write your name on this one." So he did. And I looked at him. I said, "You too are a fucking idiot." And by then, everybody at the checkouts is paying attention. There was a woman in the video who happened to be up at the checkouts at the time I was checking out. She's like, is this what I can expect just moving to Colorado? I mean, you guys, for real, for freaking real. And even in the comments, people know it all over the country. The cops in Colorado, they suck. They're horrible. They're uneducated. They've been getting away with shit for way too long. And you saw they didn't have body cams. Oh, well, yeah, we passed a law that they all have to be implemented by 2023. Okay, well, big fucking deal. You could see Bouchard has been doing that for quite some time. He was quite comfortable putting on a performance in front of a cell phone. He didn't think it was going to come back and be so public. He kept being smug. That was okay. And I kept saying it in my mind, "You stupid fucker, you're going to regret this. Keep it up. Just keep it up." As I was, just being nice and fairly cooperative. I'm not stupid. No way in hell would I have ever consented to a search of anything, okay? I wanted to get as much as what they had to say on video as I possibly could. So the questions were very pointed and directed because I wanted to know if they had seen or looked at any video, and they hadn't. So even to today, this is all still hearsay. Every bit of what they're claiming is hearsay. So I leave the store. That's Saturday night. That concludes Saturday night. Hey, Brett, thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, third-degree burglary. Yeah, and that's the other thing, everybody. Did you read in my description of that video what what the elements of that crime would have to be? Go read third-degree burglary in Colorado. None of that had to do with burglary. None of it. Even what he was saying went down. Not one thing had to do with burglary. And that is how stupid. That's the cop that has to call his supervisor before charging someone. And he's been a cop in Littleton since 2012. That guy's been a cop for 10 years. Okay, this gets even better. So around, I get on the phone, and First thing I do is I call Planet Fitness. And there's a nice girl by the name of Summer on the phone. Super nice girl. I said, yeah, Summer, so I was in the club last night and turns out, through this chain of events, and I explained it to her, and she was just mortified. She was in shock. She said, I need to call my manager and tell him what went on. I said, yes, please do. And please have him call me right away. And she said, well, you know what? I found a black backpack in the bathroom last night or this morning hanging up in the stall. It had to be there since last night because I found it before we opened. Bohica, is it good? Okay, so now we've got an employee at Planet Fitness saying she found a black backpack, right? So I get on the phone with the Littleton Police Department and I ask to speak with the supervisor for the weekend. Thanks, Bohica. And I get a call back from Corporal Hanna. I know of this officer. His name is Jim Hanna. I've heard a lot of good things about him. He's also the school resource officer. I don't really support the use of school resource officers, but when I first started doing activist work, it was in education advocacy and public school education advocacy for SPED, which took me over into the Littleton School District on a couple of occasions. And I had heard really good things about this man over the years. Just recently heard another good interaction that he had with a homeless family out here on the streets of Denver. So we made small talk. It was a very cordial conversation. And I told him what went on. Well, he had already pulled the report that those two dumbasses wrote the night before. And he read in the report that this is, again, what the cops are writing. Nothing has been proven or substantiated. That this woman had items taken out of her backpack, that they went over to King Soopers and Dairy Queen, which are right in the area, and used her credit card. Okay, so tell me, how fast were those cops able to determine that this woman was making a legitimate police report about theft? How often do the police jump on those kinds of reports of theft? Okay. Boy, they sure jumped into action real quick on all of this stuff. But why were they back over at King Soopers an hour after I had already been there, stating that they were there looking for me? Here is the number one quiz question to this whole debacle. How did those two cops know what I looked like? Because they came right up to me. And then you saw the other cop get off the phone and say, are you Reagan? Why? Who was identifying me through that whole process? Was it Planet Fitness that gave them my picture as well? Was it the women out in the parking lot? Well, none of that's articulated in the report. So there's a lot of questions. And there were other people in Planet Fitness, okay? So he can't really answer the questions that I need answered. And of course, the report isn't releasable yet, yada, yada, yada. We talked about filing a internal affairs complaint, which of course I did. I'm waiting for Commander Cooper of the Littleton Police Department to get back to me. I was pretty specific in my complaint about what I expected, although they don't have a formal process in Littleton, right? Like they do in Denver, where there's a civilian oversight of police complaints to make sure they're handled properly. So I've asked Littleton Police Department to step it up and do an actual investigation and issue a determination letter to what I described as policy violations or not. Okay. So yeah, that part's done. It doesn't really mean shit. They do what they want anyway. But this is what we have to continue to do. And this is what I need help with. So again, in the description, I am going to put more links to how to follow up with the Littleton Police Department. And for everybody in the commentary on FOIA, FOIA is not a records request in the state. FOIA is a federal request for public information. It's the Freedom of Information Act. It has nothing to do with law enforcement. Every state is different. In Colorado, we have the Colorado Criminal Justice Records Act, and there are all kinds of things that law enforcement can hide behind with that very archaic law that we have in this state. So trust me, I'm seasoned, I'm educated, I know how to do all this stuff. I have stacks and stacks of public records, police reports, denials, determination letters from all kinds of internal affair agencies with law enforcement all over the state. Cora, Colorado, Op- Colorado Open Records Act also has nothing to do with law enforcement, by the way. Like I said, they get to hide behind the Colorado Criminal Justice Records Act. Any record, any at all, whether it's a policy, a contract, if it is with a police department or a law enforcement agency, they are the custodian of records, and CORA does not apply to law enforcement agencies. Now, if you want to go to the county or the city and say that you want to CORA an employee's salary or contract, you can do it that way. But as far as Criminal Justice Records Act, they hold them all. And they get to charge you, and they get to take as long as they possibly can to release those. So it's a whole plethora of needing to understand how records work in Colorado when it comes to that stuff. I got it handled. So we get off the phone, and I decide to go over to the club, back to Planet Fitness Sunday night, and just hang out for a little bit. I walk in there, and the little gal that was working the night before, who took all my information, was at the desk. I said, "You gave the cops all of my information. Why did you do that?" I didn't do it. You didn't do it. Who did it? Well, we have to give it to him. Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to talk to a manager? I said, "Oh, the manager's here." Yeah. So she goes and gets the manager, who didn't bother to call me. And he walks up to me. He explains to me that he's going to check into this because he doesn't want this to happen to anybody. His name is Will over there, by the way. He's the manager of Planet Fitness, and he somewhat empathized with my plight for why you shouldn't give information to law enforcement as a private business. And he said that he wanted to make sure that they were protecting their clientele, and that they were following policy, and he would get back to me, and he was sorry that that happened, and he wanted to give me a refund for next month's membership. I said, no, that's not what this is about. I like this club. I want to be here. I said, it's horrible that this is my welcoming day back after being gone for 6 months, but that's not what this is about. This is about what you just said you were going to do. So I'm going to follow up with you, and I'm really hopeful that you'll tell me what the policy is, and if there isn't one, certainly the franchise owners are going to want to implement one. Well, then this morning, I go over to Littleton Police Department to get my request in for the police report, and lo and behold, the building is closed to the public for COVID, right? There's all these elderly people walking up to their little city government building wanting to conduct some kind of business in there. It's not just the police department, it's the whole city government of Littleton, of the city of Littleton. And I'm like, no, this isn't going to work. So the little secretary, who apparently sits inside the locked door, comes outside, and she says, "We're closed to the public." I said, "No, you're not. This is a public building. You're here. I'm here to conduct business. So I need someone to assist me with getting records." "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that." "Well, yeah, I'm sorry too, because you can. So if you can't do it, I'm just going to call police dispatch and have them dispatch an officer or whoever out here to take care of this business." Yeah, why is the secretary in a closed building? You tell me. Yeah, the whole city of Littleton's government compound is closed to the public. You can't go in the building. Well, so I called dispatch, and they were very cordial, and they said they would have someone come out. And so I sat down on the bench, and I waited for less than 5 minutes, and this wonderfully pleasant woman came out, told me her name, and she said, "I have your form right here." And I had, of course, given dispatch my name. And I said, "Well, how did you know what form I needed?" I don't know if they have a Facebook page. They should. They're big enough. And she said, "Oh, I knew what form you needed because we've been dealing with this all morning." Yeah, nice. Nice work, you guys. Keep calling. keep filing complaints. But here's one thing I don't want you to do. Don't give them a fucking dime. Okay? Don't pay for records. Don't do any of that. Okay? So I paid the $10 for the police report that I'm required to pay, even though I shouldn't have had to pay it because I'm a freaking victim. And in Colorado, if you're a victim, you're entitled to a police report. But instead I'm the suspect. So I paid the $10 for the report. I signed the non-pecuniary gain statement. She didn't ask me for my address. She didn't do anything stupid. She didn't make me present ID, which I never do when I do records requests because I'm not required to do that. And it was a pleasant exchange, and she said she would get with me when she could. Okay, great. Well, Planet Fitness is just right across the street, less than a 5-minute drive. So I decided to go over there because right before I had gone to the Littleton Police Department, I got a call from the manager at Planet Fitness, Will. Well, Will was a whole different story today. Will was not apologetic. In fact, they are doing everything right. And he has reached out to corporate and the regional manager, and they have assured him that it is within the member agreement that I signed that they can release information to law enforcement. Really, Will? Because I don't remember reading that. Where is it? Well, it's there. It's there. I said, huh, okay. So are you telling me that you're going to continue this this procedure with giving out people's information to law enforcement on a whim? Not only did he say yes, he went into great detail about how they've been doing it often. In the last week, they've had 4 thefts in the club, and they need to cooperate with law enforcement. Wait a minute. Let's back up on that, Will, because you make members sign a waiver releasing you from any liability for any property or even loss of life in your club, in or around your club. It's very clear about theft in Planet Fitness. They are not responsible, period. They do a good job. They have lockers. Gee, imagine putting your shit in a locker and being able to lock it for free. They even have free locks at Planet Fitness. So back to the whole fact that this person got their shit stolen in Planet Fitness. Hello? And you have 4 thefts in a week? And he said, yeah, we have. And it's our job to cooperate with law enforcement. Uh-huh. This would be the same business that literally got desecrated financially because government decided it knew how to run businesses best during a pandemic. And here they are, still literally doing the same goddamn thing times 10. They've got clients coming back from the COVID disaster, and now they're pulling this shit? Oh. Sorry, I have to drink. You could do them anonymously. Yes, records requests here. Yeah, judgment-free zone. Thank you, Trish. Thank you. Judgment-free zone. Okay. So I'm disgusted with Will. He's talking circles on the phone. I'm like, I hope you know what you just did. And I had asked him to put me in touch with the franchise owner. I wanted to have a logical, sensible conversation and ask them why, as a franchise owner, could they not make their own agreements, whether or not they're going to cooperate with law enforcement? Certainly, each club can make that decision, right? No, Will doubled down and told me I need to go read the privacy statement in the contract I signed. So I went and looked up my contract. Lo and behold, it's not in there. In this little tiny section, it says, if you want to know more about our privacy policies, visit planetfitness.com/privacy policies, right? And it's just a website. It's just one tiny sentence in that whole contract, okay? So I go to planetfitness.com/privacy-policies. And right in there, it flat out states that Planet Fitness will cooperate in releasing all of your personal information with these listed people and partners: marketing agencies, fitness, blah blah blah, machine makers of fitness equipment, and then it says law enforcement, and then it lists out all the information that they can release to them. Your home address, your phone number, your email, your picture, everything. That's Planet Fitness for you. Who knew? And all this time, they've been doing that all along. I was in total shock. I could not believe it. So the only logical thing to do after I had gone to Littleton Police Department was to go over to Planet Fitness and try to do that live stream. Well, that didn't work out too good. So you know what I did instead? I spent an hour in the parking lot informing mostly women that were going in and out of the Planet on what Planet Fitness is doing, on what that very club is doing. They've been releasing everyone's information that checks in and out of that club. Any day there's a theft and law enforcement gets involved. Think about that shit. That's that's pretty heavy. And he admitted it. He told me that on the phone. Yeah, we're going to continue to cooperate with law enforcement. When we've had all these thefts, having 4 in a week, then Will did go on to say that he was rather shocked how aggressively law enforcement responded. And he'd watched the video because I told him about it. He really couldn't believe it because they don't do that. And they've always come in during business hours to talk to management. You know, I said, well, Will, fathom this, if you will. When you give up people's personal information and cops decide that they're going to target whoever they decide they're going to target, well, it happens because you gave them all my fucking information. So don't tell me that Reuter Brashard didn't either Google me, already have a relationship with law enforcement that knew me very well, possibly called Inglewood because that's Inglewood's jurisdiction over in King Soopers, right? Why they were there is still a question I have to begin with, without Inglewood's cooperation in a criminal investigation in their jurisdiction. But boy, he sure knew who I was right off the bat. How in the hell that happened? Go back and listen to him talk about, well, we've been in here looking for you. Oh, yeah, we didn't know you were going to walk right past us. That fucker had been in that store looking for me for an hour. Why? Because he thought he was going to have a heyday. And we are supposed to trust the police. Now, what if, and I gave this example to Will, the manager at Planet Fitness, when I talked to him Sunday night. Now, what if, Will, I had been a person who decided to walk right past those cops and say, fuck you, and ultimately get assaulted? Then what? Then who's responsible? What would have happened if I would have gotten charged and or arrested and taken to jail? Then what? Then who's liable? Well, he didn't really have an answer for that. And he was very apologetic again. And I said, do you know what it's like to be a woman and dealing with a cop that's up to here and he's got his arms crossed in your face? Do you know what that's like? And he kind of put his head down. I said, what if I told you if I've been assaulted by cops before? Do you think I want to have fucking interaction with cops because you gave them my name for something completely false? Yeah, so I'm taking this pretty personal now, and I'm a little devastated, to be honest with you, because here's the breaking point for this. Or hospitalized, thank you, Tommy, or dead. I mean, what would have happened if he no body cam? Boom, we saved everybody's lives in King Soopers. It's that easy. So here was the kicker. In my nonprofit work, in the things that I do out on the street, and the things that I don't even talk about or publicize, lots of people have a lot of needs for different reasons. Homelessness hits harder, and I work very, very diligently with my donor base, which is all private money. Okay, I work very hard to assess the needs and prioritize. And it gets me because I want to do more for everyone and I can't. We do a lot out on the streets for people. And if somebody had needed a backpack, one of my girlfriends called me and said, Regan, the whole thing about this, you give so selflessly out there and you get accused of, the things that pure criminals are partaking in. And nobody even gave you an opportunity to see if you could just help somebody out with a backpack. And it really bugged me because here I am being accused of this, nowhere no nowhere near reality. But what would have happened if I would have gotten charged? And somebody else today sent me an email and made me think a little bit harder about the humiliation piece of that. Okay? Because you're standing in the middle of a grocery store with these two fucking idiot cops. Everybody's convinced you're getting caught in the act of shoplifting, right? But if I had gotten charged with some kind of fucking ridiculous charge, burglary, theft, whatever, it would have stopped all of my work dead in its tracks because I would have no more respect until I was able to get charges clear. Remember, you are guilty until proven innocent. And there are people out on the street that commentary in my YouTube videos, mostly the neighbors or cops, people that hide behind the scenes, but there have been people that have confronted me and said, "You're just doing this for the likes. You're just doing this for the notoriety." One of the homeless people that I work with, she chewed my ass the other day because I was live streaming. I always live stream out there. They know that I live stream. We have this agreement about public awareness out there. You have no expectation to privacy. Now, if you come up to me and you talk to you, but I don't want it to be recorded. I of course am going to respect that. But this particular girl living homeless on the streets was making some commentary that she decided that I ruined her life over, even though I was in the middle of filming the cops and she was making the commentary. I went to check on her a couple days later and she chewed my ass and told me she hated me, she never wanted to see me again, blah 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 blah. I've had a couple other homeless people, you know spread some rumors that I just collect money because I just pay myself. I at any time will sit down with anyone that wants to, and I will go through all of my financial with everyone. I put my own money into this nonprofit. I don't take a salary. On occasion, I might buy myself lunch if I'm taking a homeless person to lunch. I might put gas in my car one out of the 8 times I run an empty tank doing homeless outreach. Okay. So, to back up about the humiliation and how it sunk deep down in my heart, it really hit. It takes me a little bit of time to process when my feelings are hurt or I get upset. I don't grieve easily. I just move forward and I try to forget what's going on. But that could have destroyed me. That could have destroyed every single thing that I've been busting my ass to do for the last 3 years. And it just hit me today. And I'm pissed. And I'm pissed. So while I might get a rabbit hole on this issue for a little bit, because I do intend to go back to that Planet Fitness, which I didn't finish telling you what I did. I am going back to that Planet Fitness and I am going to talk to more women and tell them what's going on. And I told Will that today. I also told him that I was really disappointed that it's come to this because I liked the club. I wanted to be back there. But you get what you pay for. So I'm going to have to go figure something else out. That's what the free market dictates. So, Planet Fitness, you're going to see how a free market is going to be dictated, not by government, but by pissed off customers. Okay? Because that's how this works. You decided that it was best to let government run your business and to continue to run your business. Well, that's what's going to happen. And I had asked to talk to the franchise owner, and I was told no, because I want to understand if they are serious about this issue and maybe taking control of their own franchise to do what's right and what makes sense. But apparently the store manager just speaks for the whole franchise. So we're gonna see how that plays out. But in the meantime, I have a lot of people out on the streets that I have to tend to. I do have to work. Um, this is my busy season right now, and I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time working. So I'm not gonna have a lot of time to go down this rabbit hole with Planet Fitness and Littleton PD. So I could really, really, really use your help on this. I'm gonna put in the description the links if anybody wants to. Bohica, did you have a chance to share any of those? And I had a very serious conversation with a woman out in that parking lot today. It lasted about 15 minutes, and she was mortified. She's a single woman. She's had some issues with law enforcement as a teenager. You can imagine. She works as a nurse. She sees a lot of trauma, and she didn't. She wasn't happy about what was going on. And I talked to 4 other women. Talked to a couple guys. They don't give a shit. The men are like, yeah, whatever. You're a woman. Comply. Well, James, the whole thing with that is, so everybody's everybody's telling me that, oh, you're an idiot if you don't sue. You're an idiot if they violated your rights. That's worth $45,000. That's worth $75,000. Okay, look, I have been down this civil rights violation road before with the federal court system. It's not easy, people. If it was, everybody'd be getting $45,000 settlements because this happens every day. You do have to prove that you sustained loss. And it has to have a dollar amount on it. Okay. And a federal judge is not going to look at a 5-minute detainment with no action, no criminal charges, no nothing, and go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. Let's process this. If I were to pay to file that suit, my guess is it's going to get thrown out. Okay, maybe I'm completely wrong. I've sent it to a prominent civil rights attorney. We'll see if I hear back from him. If not, I don't have time, and I am not. I'm just not that motivated by a potential payout when I've got 100 people out here on the street. Um, sure, that could benefit from it. Yeah, I guess that could. I guess that could. Help my nonprofit, but not likely. Okay, so we'll see where that goes. I'm not opposed to it because these civil rights violations, they need to be addressed and taken serious. And a lot of people, have this philosophy that, oh, what a big deal, 5 minutes. Police are allowed to investigate. Well, yeah, they are. Not like that. To me, I would think Littleton Police Department would be making some pretty serious changes. And that's what I'm looking for. So we'll see how that pans out. And in the meantime, look, if you know of a prominent civil rights attorney in Colorado, send it to him. Help me out. I don't mind getting educated, reading up on some case law. But am I gonna stop everything I'm doing and pursue that? Well, here's the answer to that. A sheriff in Morgan County, undersheriff, threw me through 2 double doors on video, threw me on my back, and then charged me again with another case. I had a path paved to sue them. And I didn't want to be taken down the rabbit hole because it was too emotional. I don't want to drudge this shit up all the time. Money is not going to fix, for me, what's been done, unless I am seriously physically hurt, maimed, or killed. No, they don't deserve the Second Amendment. We do. I get it. So there's a lot of things that need to get done. And the more we work together to make that happen, the better. So I'm just going to ask everyone to please continue to pursue holding Planet Fitness accountable for what they're doing, which could potentially lead to another incident like this that could get much worse. I had no idea they were doing that. And of course, I had to learn the hard way. So sometimes these things end up in my lap for awareness. I don't know why or how, but they do. So potentially, maybe we can help end all of this and not have another woman maybe really get hurt. Because the bottom line is, Planet Fitness is releasing all of your personal information to cooperate with law enforcement. And it says it right on their website to include your home address, pictures, email, phone numbers, everything. Yes, Bohica, thank you. I think the shaming is way more important. And when you're a public servant, you better serve or you're going to get served. It's really pretty simple. And as far as private business behaving like that, they're going to reap the repercussions of it. And I hope people are going to help me. So, in the meantime, that's the recap for today. Thank you, everyone, for being here, being a new subscriber. For those of you that have reached out to me in Colorado, I do want to get together with each and every one of you. There's some people out there that I didn't know existed, and I have no problem going out and cop watching and doing some auditing in my spare time too, because I do enjoy it. I'm just I'm an auditor, an activist, and I do it all. But I'm not a First Amendment auditor per se every day trying to